Hello everyone, Goosebumps Guy here with a brand new video, and today I'm going to bring you another top 10 video. I had a lot of fun making the last video, so I decided to make another one, and as you could read by the title, it's top 10 strongest Goosebumps monsters. I haven't really seen any videos on this subject, and I think it opens up a huge discussion on which are the strongest monsters. Please remember, this is my opinion, and I try to stay a bit factual and have some backup on why these monsters are on the list. If I missed any that you think should be on there, definitely leave a comment below with the ones that I missed or the ones I should have put on. And also, I haven't read every single Goosebumps book, so I might have missed a few, so I did go on the wiki and I did try to figure out some of the ones that I missed, some of the books that I didn't read, and get them on here. And I won't be including Give Yourself Goosebumps because that's just a whole different story. There's so many different monsters in those books. Just a heads up, there might be a few spoilers. So let's get right to it. Just sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this video. There are many powerful werewolves in the Goosebumps series, but the one that made it onto my list was Werewolf Skin. I really wish I had a pair of werewolf skin. That'd be pretty cool. And in this story, it's unlike any werewolves you've heard about before. You do not need a full moon to change with this skin. This skin, if you look at it as pretty much skinning an animal and then it turns into like a costume type of thing. So when people put on the werewolf skin, they turn into werewolves. So you can control when and where you turn into a werewolf. And there's some good side effects that come with turning into a werewolf, which is you get claws, you get superhuman strength, or I guess it'd be like super wolf strength, and you also get some crazy teeth. A crazy big pair of teeth, as you can see in the picture in front of you guys. And the reason why this made it to my list is, like I said, unlike other werewolves, you don't need the full moon, and full moons don't happen all the time. You just need this in your backpack, or you need this near to turn into a werewolf. So it makes it a lot more scary in that sense that it's not just during the full moon, it's pretty much on command. When you want to turn into a werewolf, you can turn into a werewolf. And that's why Werewolf Skin is the strongest werewolf, and that's why I made it onto my list. We'll be leaving werewolves behind, and on number 9 on my list is worms from Go Eat Worms. When I was a kid, I went to the park with my older brothers. We were playing, doing kid stuff, and we found a worm. They tried to convince me to eat it because I was the youngest one, and being the courageous soul that I was, I did eat it. And I guess the moral of the story is, don't eat worms. You're probably wondering why worms made it onto my list, and if you've read this book, you can understand, and you know throughout the whole book, you could kind of see how intelligent these worms are. These worms are pretty much plotting revenge on the protagonist Todd, getting him in trouble, appearing in his bed, appearing in his food, and these worms are doing it to get at Todd. And for a creature of that size to figure out the dislikes and likes of humans and what's gonna mess with the human just really shows how smart this worm is. And by the end of the book, it turns into Tremors, and if you don't know what Tremors is, you can look at the picture above. That is Tremors. There's giant worms at the end of this book. So this is pretty much L Stine's take on Tremors. And you might just be thinking, like, worms, what are worms gonna do to humans? Well, at the end of the book, a giant worm pops out of the ground in a baseball diamond and tries to drag Todd and his friend down beneath the dirt, which pretty much means they're either going to eat him or try to kill him. So with that fact at the end of the book, they made it onto my list at number 9. Coming in at the number 8 spot is Ghost from Ghost Camp. Some of you guys are probably thinking, Goosebumps guy, now with the camp stories again. But surprisingly, this is the only camp story that made it onto my list. There are several reasons why the ghosts from Ghost Camp made it onto my list. And one of those reasons are, they can't feel pain. There's many incidents in the story where you see that they can't feel pain, but one of them, and this is, I'm pretty sure the first thing that happens, is as they're having a campfire, everyone's eating, roasting their hot dogs on the fire, and someone drops their hot dog into the fire. That person immediately sticks their hand right into the blazing hot fire for a few seconds and then pulls their hand out with no scars, no burns, or nothing. The only thing that was burnt was the hot dog. So that's just one incident, and these ghosts are actually physically there. So when you think about a ghost, you think like you would probably walk through them, or you could like stick your hand through them. But no, if you were to walk into these ghosts, you would walk right into them. If one of these ghosts were to punch you in the face, you'd probably have a broken nose. These ghosts have one main goal, and they're like regular ghosts. They're bound to one spot, and they were all killed in this camp. And since they were killed in the camp, that means they have to stay in the camp. They cannot leave the camp. Just like most ghosts, like if you hear about most ghost stories, they're haunting a house because they were killed in the house type of story. So these guys are bound to the camp, and their one and only goal is to lure campers in and to steal their bodies and to leave them behind, and they'll leave in their bodies. So let's say you went to the camp and you weren't a ghost. This ghost would take over your body, and then they'd be able to leave. So that's why they're so high up on my list, is because of the fact that they can't really go nowhere. They're stuck in the woods at a camp, but it seems like they've been successfully luring people to the camp. So yeah, painless. They can actually like beat you up. They could hold you, tie you down, punch you, kick you. So like they're actually there. And they can also steal your body and then leave and go on with their life pretending to be you, or just, you know, going on with the life as a totally new person. So yeah, that's why they got the number 8 spot on my list. Lucky number 7 goes to the aliens in Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. Not much is known about the aliens in Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. For 99% of the book, we're led to believe that the people in the jack-o'-lantern costumes are humans in disguise. Just, it's Halloween, so people have masks on, and we're just led to believe they're humans. But really, they're aliens, not illegal aliens. These are aliens from outer space we're talking. And these aliens have a special power. They can mimic any human voice. So they can mimic your dad, your mom, your cousin, your sister, and your brother. With that being said, you could be in the woods and you could hear any one of those voices, and you could hear them screaming, calling for help, calling your name, and you would follow it because that's like your cousin, that's your sister's, your dad's voice, and they need help, so you'd most likely go and try to help them. And then once you get there, you're met with these aliens, and that's not even what they look like. They're hiding under the jack-o'-lantern costume mask. So that's a very special power that I think is really good. But what puts them on my list is the reason why they're on Earth. They're on Earth to eat adult humans. Yeah, adult humans. They're not here to eat kids. They won't really mess with kids. They just play a few pranks on them. But they're here to eat adults, and that just goes to show how strong they are. If they can choose just to go for adults instead of kids, and kids would be the easiest target by far. So they choose to eat adults, and in the starting of the book, you hear about people going missing and stuff, and by the end of the book you realize it's these aliens that are eating them. So they've been successful in eating people and getting away with it, so that's why they got the number 7 spot on my list. The number 6 spot goes to the Body Squeezers from Invasion of the Body Squeezers. I actually just finished this book last week, and I'll give you guys my thoughts once I get to that point in my reviews. This is pretty much L Stine's version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'll throw up a picture now for a few seconds so you guys can see what it is. But yeah, it's L Stine's version of the Body Snatchers. And what happens is this aliens invade the Earth. And these aliens can pretty much take host of people, kind of like the Thing. So they'll go into your body and they'll take control of your body. So they come out like in meteorites, and they kind of look like meteorites, but they're actually spaceships. And once they come out, they start off ant size, like not ant size, but bug size. They're pretty small. And within seconds, they grow up to be bigger than humans. Like you can see in the picture, that's how big they grow. And all they have to do is hug you. And once they hug you, they absorb into your body and they become a host. You become a host. So they're controlling your body, and they pretty much get all your thoughts and all your memories as they take host of your body, which is pretty crazy. They take your voice. The only thing is they click their teeth, so that's how you kind of know it's them when they're clicking their teeth. but all they have to do is hug you. You could go around, you see some people you might have seen before for certain events and at certain things, people are giving away free hugs. That person could have been a body squeezer if this was like a Goosebumps world and spreading the virus around. And the second one person gets a hug from the body squeezer, like if the host moves, and like it's kind of weird to explain, but the one body squeezer pretty much spread through a whole bunch of bodies, but he controlled all the bodies at the same time. It's not like when he hugged someone he switched bodies. He hugged them and then he controlled both of those bodies. So he hugged 100 people and he controls 100 people. He hugs 10 people, he controls 10 people. And what's so amazing about these creatures is how fast they could spread. Pretty much in the second part of the book is when they start to spread, but they spread really fast. They get to the principal, they get to the teachers, they get to the protagonist's friends, they get to pretty much everybody. They get to his dad, and they retain the memories of the people they take host of, which is just crazy. They made it on this list because how fast they can spread and how easily they could spread. If someone came up to me and asked me for a hug, I'd most likely give them a hug. Then I'd fall victim to the body snatchers, or body squeezers in this book. But they would have made it higher on my list, but they're extremely easy to kill. Once you kill the leader, you kill them all, so that's why they're at the number 6 spot. We're halfway through this list and we're at number 5. This spot goes to Monster Blood. I really wish I had some monster blood, because then I'd eat it, which would make me the biggest person in the world. That means I'd have the biggest, yeah, I don't think I should, just forget everything I just said. Yeah, I'm not gonna erase that part, just erase it from your mind. Monster blood made it onto my list because it's almost indestructible, and there's different types of monster blood if you didn't know. There's the monster blood from monster blood 1 to 3, which they're pretty much the same monster blood. Green slime, it will suck you up. If you get too close, it'll like pull you inside, or if you eat it, you'd become big. As you can see the hamster above it, become about that size, or in the next pictures you'll see in the future, you could become a giant. But then there's also monster blood from more monster blood, which is the, or not more monster blood for breakfast, which is the 12-hour trial of strength version, and it makes the character Matt Daniels grow about 9 feet tall, which is a bit different from the other monster blood. But then there's also monster blood 4, where instead of being green, it's blue, and it multiplies when exposed to water. This blue monster blood's also carnivorous, evil, and it has fangs. It's not a toy at all. It's actually supposed to be a military super weapon. So yeah, that's why it gets on my list. If it's a military super weapon, that obviously means it's powerful. And if you read the book, you'll definitely see how powerful Monster Blood is. And if you know the series, Monster Blood is such a notorious series just because of how crazy it is. And I think it's kind of like L Stine's take on the Blob, but then he also has like another take on the Blob, which is the Blob that ate everyone. But yeah, Monster Blood made it to my list because of those many reasons. It's a super weapon, it can make you grow, it can pretty much consume you alive, and it's so hard to stop. Taking the number 4 spot is the Masked Mutant. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be? I would choose flying, because flying would be the best. I would never have to drive again. I would never have to take the plane again. It'd just be awesome. But I'd also like the Masked Mutant's power as well. He has the ability to change into any solid. He could change into an octopus, then breathe underwater. He could change into a little girl, speak like a little girl when he changes. So it's not his body changing, he's actually changing himself, which is pretty amazing. The reason why the Masked Mutant came so high up on this list was because of his superpower, but he would have made it a lot further on this list if he didn't kill himself. He got tricked by Skipper to change into sulfuric acid, and like I said, he can change to any solid. He can also change to liquids and gases, but once he does, he cannot like change back. So the Masked Mutant got the number 4 spot because of his power, but he would have made it a lot higher if he just was a bit smarter of what he did at the end. Here at number 3 are the Darkfall residents from Welcome to Dead House. I know some of you guys are thinking, like, zombies, they're not that powerful. They can't be this high on the list. They're not the strongest creature. They don't deserve a number 3 spot. But in my opinion, they do. And here's a few reasons why. I meant to say, here's a few reasons why. I'm not even going to edit that out, because screw it. But the first reason being is, think about a zombie. When you think about a zombie, think about this brainless creature that's walking and it can't talk and they're just looking for brains to eat. These zombies are very, very different. These zombies keep their IQ. They're just as smart as they were alive. They're the same person pretty much. They just have this kind of hunger, kind of like vampires. They're hungry for blood. By themselves, these zombies aren't strong, but as a group, they are really strong, and they decided all to reside in the same area, Dark Falls. So they have a very smart plan of giving away a free house from an uncle or aunt or whatever, and they just give away a house to a random family, and this family's gonna move in and stay at the house. So then once there's a family there, there's pretty much only 4 to 5 or however big the family is people alive in the town, and everybody else is a zombie. So their strength comes in numbers, and the reason why I think they're so strong too is because they weren't really destroyed. At the end of the book, the family gets away, but they leave behind Dark Falls and everybody living in Dark Falls. And like I said, their strength comes in numbers, so that's why they got so high up on my list. And also, according to the book, they've been doing it for years and successfully turning people to zombies and feeding off of them. So if L Stine wrote a book about a previous family, I don't think they would have gotten away. Just like one of the main characters in the book, which was watching them, he was used to reside in that same house, just like almost everyone else there. I think some of you have been waiting for this next one. Here at number 2 is Slappy the Dummy. The notorious Slappy the Dummy. Slappy the Dummy is, well, you guessed it, a living dummy, and he pretty much preys on little kids, ruining their lives, pretty much trying to make them his slave. But that's not why Slappy got number 2 on my list. The reason why Slappy got number 2 on my list, because every single time he gets destroyed, he comes back to life. No one has figured out a way to stop Slappy for good. The way Slappy works is he has some magic words in his pocket, and if you read those magic words, he comes to life. But if you read them backwards, you could stop him. But it's still just, they never end up stopping him. Somehow he just comes back to life. I bet some of you guys are thinking too, if he can't be destroyed, and he hasn't been destroyed to this day, how come he doesn't have the number 1 spot? And the reason why he doesn't have the number 1 spot is because there's one other person in the Goosebumps universe that can pretty much do anything. Anything they want. Not anything they want, but anything you want. Can I get a drum roll? No? Okay, whatever. Number 1 spot goes to Clarissa from Be Careful What You Wish For. Clarissa's pretty much a genie that can grant you 3 wishes. In the book, Be Careful What You Wish For, Samantha, the protagonist, she's probably the worst player on her basketball team. So she wishes to be the best player on her basketball team. She goes home and she wakes up in the morning and goes to basketball practice or a basketball game, one of the two. And during that game or practice, she realizes everyone else is horrible. Now she's the best player, but she hasn't changed a bit. So you can kind of see Clarissa is giving her some pretty bad wishes. Like, these wishes is what she wished for, but she's kind of playing with her words. The next wish is the real reason why she's on my list. The main character, Bird, wishes for her bully Judith to disappear. When Bird wakes up in the morning, she realizes everybody in the whole world is gone. Clarissa made the whole world disappear. So you can kind of understand her power just from that little bit. She made probably at the time like 5 or 4 billion people disappear overnight. That is crazy. I don't know any other character with this amount of power, making the whole world disappear. That is truly insane, and that's why I do feel like she can defeat Slappy. If someone were to wish a wish and she were to actually not twist up the words and she would actually give them the wish, she could destroy Slappy and every single thing in Goosebumps, in my opinion. and that's why she's number 1. If you guys made it to the end, you guys are awesome. You guys deserve a pat on the back. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I worked extremely hard on it. I've been sitting at my desk for about the past 6 or 7 hours, and I also had to do some more reading to figure out which characters should make it onto this list. I have a question for you guys. What's the strongest character in your opinion? Who would get the number 1 spot on your list? Please leave a comment below and subscribe if you haven't already. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed. Goosebumps guys out. Goosebumps guys out, what the hell?